Okay, here we are for Birgi Brawl. Birgi's a great card. She's a god of storytelling. Whenever you cast a spell, add 1 red. Until the end of turn, you don't lose this, as steps and phases end. Creatures you control can boast twice during each of your turns rather than once. Alright. On the other side, she can also be cast as Harnfell Horn of Bounty. That's for 5, so it's a bit more on this aggro deck, but sometimes it can be quite useful. Discard a card, exile the top 2 cards of your library, and you may play those cards this turn. So you have to discard a card from your hand, then you draw 2 cards. Those 2 cards then are in exile. If you don't play them, then they go away. You can't then activate the horn off of an exiled card. Generally, when I'm using Birgi in a brawl situation, I will cast her as herself rather than the horn. Being able to boost out all these 1 and 2 to cast things, and then a few 3s here and there, is good enough to kill someone a lot of the time. Turn 5 victories aren't that bad in Brawl. Pretty good. Turn 6. Once it gets past turn 7 or 8, it's starting to get a little bit worrisome. They'll start to take control. So you really want to try to burst them down as quick as possible. Have a little bit of extra mana in Arcane Signet and Heraldic Banner to be able to force that through. Of course, when Birgi's out, Frostbite, Shock, Shadow Spear, these are all free. If you really like the free effect, you can put some more 0 or 1 to cast items in there. That's pretty good. You run out of cards pretty quick, though, with all the low casting cost cards. Get them all out real fast. Got a little bit of refreshment with Maze Mine Tome. Another theme in the deck is the Dwarf theme, which is really good with, let's see, that's a Berserker. Magda, Brazen Outlaw. Other dwarves get +1. Nice effect. And the main thing is when a dwarf you control becomes tapped, create a treasure token. This is great. Allows you to get out more cards quicker, casting extra things. Often you can just cast a Embercleave off of the tokens when you're attacking in with a bunch of dwarves. The other thing is you can sacrifice 5 treasures, search your library for an artifact or dragon card, and put that onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. So the other thing is we have some dragon synergy here. All the top end of our deck for creatures is the dragons, plus a 3 to cast Gadrak, which allows you to make more artifacts, more treasures each turn, allowing you to more quickly get out some other bigger dragons. If you have it, I don't know if you'd craft it just for this deck, but if you have it, generally what I see people play against me for a game ender is attacking in with a bunch of dwarves, especially in the Magda version of this deck. There's one that's very similar, is the Terror of Mount Valus. When it enters the battlefield, creatures you control gain double strike until end of turn. Excuse me. So that's a great top end. It's what you'll generally be searching for if you have it. Otherwise, probably Terror of the Peaks, maybe Goldspan Dragon if you have some things in your card that you want in your hand that you want to cast attacking in. We've got some other dwarves to help get that going. Rimrock Knight. The +2/+0 is free when you have Birgi out. That's a great effect. The 7 dwarves, that's your main powerhouse of the deck. Draw a few of those, and they're 5/5s pretty quick. Good stuff. You can cast quite a few of these 1 to cast or 2 to cast cards that are 1 to cast when you have Birgi out in a turn. Getting a lot of extra value, being able to clear the board and rush through with as many dwarves as you can. Let's see, other than that, we've got a little bit of extra synergy for the boasting. Birgi can boast twice. This is really useful to be able to play out just a couple of extra cards, along with a few boast things like the Frenzied Raider, which allow you to give counters to. Since we've got the dragons, we want to have the Dragonkin Berserker. He can even boast twice if you've got a couple dragons out already. It'll be a lot less to boast with. If you've got Birgi out, you can boast twice, like I said. And all boast abilities cost one less to activate for each dragon you control. So if you've got him out, the Firewalker's free. You can just exile 2 cards real quick. Let's go in and try it. Alright, see Magda, this is basically, the Birgi deck is basically taking the Magda shell and using it for her. So this is kind of an interesting matchup. Who is better in the Magda shell? Tundra Fumarole with Birgi is really fun. All that extra mana. Okay, they'll probably kill the dwarf. We could hold back to crush whatever they play, but maybe they want to play their own game. I do like this in the deck. I've tried it out. It's pretty good. I think just putting Birgi down, they probably don't want to trade. They can come in with her as a 3/1 and get a treasure token this next turn. Still being able to cast something for 3 because this costs 1 and they'll get the treasure. Yup. Could have put the Bone Crusher down. Could have just held off and had a stomp with our Frostbite. That's pretty much as expected. Get our 1 dwarf. See, the dwarf synergy is so much better when you have Magda out. It would be fun to do the other version of this. Just maybe we'll do this before battle on their turn. Didn't expect to draw a dwarf, or else maybe I wouldn't have put that other one out so soon. So this is a hand and a game where Birgi herself is actually really good. So it's unfortunate to lose her like that. Hopefully he doesn't have any buff spells, or we can try to play them. Yeah. They've got their dwarf out. They can crew for 3 with her. Let's just go for it right now. Probably 1 mana isn't gonna buff her. Takes away the +1/+1 so we can get in with our dwarf. This can go back up to 2. Well, might have to kill it. Don't like that. Okay, up to 5, so it can be Birgi. We can put her back down. I still think with those 3 mana left over, probably not. Let's just... let's wait until see if we get 1 more land. Maybe we can get rid of a land with Fire Prophecy. Go in for 3. Can play something with 2 attack and still crew the Raider's Carve. Would prefer not to trade with the Bone Crusher Giant. But if he does put the Magda down, that's enough to crew with the helm on. That would be the question. Don't want this to hit because when it attacks, or don't want this to live long. See, he doesn't want to do that either. Okay, Magmatic Channeler could give us some value this game, actually. I think just putting Birgi back down, we'll see how it goes. Now, getting in for the damage, leaving the giant down to stop his carve probably would have been a good idea, but at the same time, staying ahead on that damage and being able to take out his stuff and then come in with the Magmatic Channeler too is really tempting right now. Dwarven Hammer's pretty cool. +3/+0. I like the Bearded Axe for this deck too. Yeah, wow. Crew it with both of them. Pretty fancy. Get all the tokens. You might have an Ember Cleave in hand. You can't play it on 4, but it's almost to the point. You might just be trying to get that extra mana. Being tapped out at this point. 3, 7, 8, 9, 10. If I can find 3 more damage. Nope. Okay. This is a sorcery, so let's start with that. Kill the... Makes me wish I had an X spell. Yeah. Okay, that's a better showing. Did not want to have to recast their person. Maybe they weren't finding good value for all those extra treasure tokens. Maybe they just really couldn't wait to get to that 5th one. Having 4 down and then losing the ability to use the 5th one is pretty tough, but I think that they had enough to recast. It wasn't game over. Putting down a nice big dragon might have turned it back into their favor. Tapping out and being down, what were they, to 6 or 5? That didn't feel good, I'm sure. What's this? Luna. I always forget which is which in these. Apex of Wishes. Onto the battlefield or into your hand. It's... let's try the free mulligan. It's not the worst hand I've seen with this deck that actually worked, but... See, now we've got a bunch of 3 to cast. Try to keep their board clear of creatures to mutate onto by the time they hit turn 6. Just don't particularly want them ramping right now. It's going to take us out too quick. Alright, a shock. That's fine. With all these 3 to cast things. Guess it's the same story there. Since we have it. They won't start tripling them quite yet, but still. Alright. Birgi. Then next turn I can Tundra Fumarole and Phoenix of Ash. I think, yeah, 2 red mana comes up. Sure. Unless he kills it, which is very likely. He's got the 3, or probably 4 or 5, 6 spells in this deck that can kill a Birgi. That's not one of them, so that's cool. Okay. So I think we get 7 dwarves out too now. But we can fumarole this. Get a red back. Oh, we do get another red back, so yeah, we can put this out. Yeah, or we could do the Leyline Tyrant. Maybe that's better. And all the mana. And we get to keep this one. Birgi plus Leyline Tyrant is something I haven't mentioned yet. I mean, it's their turn. Still have mana available. Out of cards, though, so that's trouble. They've still got quite a bit in their hand. Okay. That feels a little bit better. Not to them. Okay. Well. Don't see why that's a instant quit. But yeah, all that extra mana right there. That's the game. That's why Birgi is fun. When people see that. And if you want to, like if you want some really fast wins, once a game goes past the stage where you're, if your Birgi dies and it's going to be a while before you recast or whatever it is, you can just flip to a new game and your opponents will concede a lot. When they see those 4 spells come down in one turn, it just saps their will. Alright, let's try it. And she does, the extra land, it can be kind of nice with her, because you can always go for the horn if you flood out. Robber of the Rich isn't going to hit for anything, so I might just put a dwarf out next turn. He's going to have 5, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, 5, yeah. Unless I shock him, then we could steal a card with Robber, but don't think it's worth it. Let's hold on to the shock for now. Put a dwarf down. Okay, Ashiok. Here you come. Yep. I will not be stealing anything with that very soon. Maybe just put the dwarf back down. We're getting put off to the point where Ashiok's going to come out and just ruin our day. Wanted to have a lot more done by turn 4. So, can do the -3, okay. Not doing that. Up to 6. Just get the shock out. Spend that extra mana. Don't want any chance of them. Well, normally not, but I want to threaten so we can get that down and then have an extra one for next turn. Probably only be able to kill 1 dwarf, and then if he does the -3, that's, yeah. But, so either put a blocker and a 2/3 from Ashiok and still be able to get 1 through. Okay, really. Not nice. I wanted the extra land, but that'll work. Hopefully we draw 1 more, then we can put Birgi and Robber down next turn. Draw 2 cards. That gets us a definite card with the Robber. Ashiok's back in the hand for 7. Okay. No land, but that's pretty good. Could just go in with Faceless, do some damage. Could put the Heraldic Banner down for the extra mana for next turn. That gives us the ability to play the 2 cards. Start with that. And just put our dwarf down for the extra point. Unfortunately, that feels like a pretty big waste, but we don't even get to kill the crab. We just, well, unless they would block for some reason, but we have to threaten her, else they won't let it go. A lot of the time, putting someone's commander up to 7 when they only have 4 mana out is enough to shut them down. if you're trying to get someone to quit a game. Or Ooh, hard casted. There's not much to do against that, really. Alright, so we can put down Birgi. Down Robber, we get 1 extra mana, and then pay the life for Shatterskull, and put down Annex. If they've got a board wipe, then we're probably already dead anyway, so when we see Extinction Event... Oh, did I miscalculation. Well, I have 2 mana available. I didn't even get anything with her. Took the 3 damage for nothing. For some reason, I thought I still had the banner open, even though I had already spent all the mana. Okay, that's some pretty good damage. See what they do with their turn. Get some sharks out. Extinction Event hits everything but Birgi. Betting they only have spot removal though, and maybe not even a lot of that. Considering quitting? Are they trying to figure out what kind of shark to make? Okay. That's fine. Easily replaceable, right? Now, is it worth it to go in to put 1 dwarf back down and go in with the Faceless? So that's 5, 9, 10, 11, 12. The play. There. All tapped out. Play a dwarf to pump our other dwarves. Why was I able to cast another? Oh, I can cast 1 because of the Faceless Haven. Yeah. Don't forget, your Faceless Haven does not tap. It has Vigilance, so you can still cast with it. Great combo with Birgi. Feels like 2 extra mana rather than 1. Vigilance lands. Okay, let's try another. A few pretty satisfying games. And it's hard to say whether that time that we attacked into the Ashiok rather than hitting face was the right call, but she would have just kept pumping out those 2/3s, and it would have been very frustrating, eventually gathering quite a bit of force. So just shutting that down, bringing their bringing their Ashiok up to 7 to cast, it just kind of shuts down the deck in a lot of ways. Nice. I haven't seen a deck built around her yet. I was considering what it would look like the other day, though. And this is one that will do. Probably a lot of ramp. And she is her own ramp. We'll see how they play it out. Oh, sorry about that. I thought we were waiting on you. Shadow Spear, I'm not seeing as much Indestructible or Hexproof lately. This might be something you could skip. It's just meta requirement. It depends on what you're seeing. If you're seeing Coma's nice. It's nice to just be able to drop. Do we want our dwarf down? think we'll put Maze Mine Tomb since the Boulder Rush is free when you have Birgi down, so next turn will be a free cast. Crown and Forest. They may not be playing. Let's just look at our next card. They may not be playing with too many. I think I like having a one land. Birgi. Hopefully they don't have a lot of removal, is what I was trying to say. They might be focused on their own game plan with Svella anyway. Let's look again. We want to be drawing cards, but okay, this is instant speed. So I think going in and seeing if they block, especially a double block would be nice here. We could Dragonfire and Rimrock if we had to. Okay. Oh, I meant to do that. Let's use up all this mana though with a instant next turn. Dwarf. Missed that 2 damage. That's pretty frustrating. Makes me wish that I had just gone Phoenix of the Ash and then put that on her, and then we could have played out the dwarf afterward and done 4 extra damage. So let's either scorch something or draw a card next turn. Maybe we'll still get our chance to do that last turn correctly. Okay. Not the best thing to see right now. I doubt they'll be doing much else. Okay, so 5. Could kill it. Pretty easily there. Let's try. It's hard to imagine him going for it. Really. That's what you want to do. Sounds good to me. I think we should save this for another card draw when we have the mana. Starting to look like Embercleave might win us the game here eventually. Got 2 artifacts out already, so this only needs 4 more artifacts. So one of the reasons I run Shadow Spear gratefully in the deck is to just give one more chance at an artifact here, and I don't want to kill it until that's gone. So this only puts her up to 5, which he probably casts her back, but it's still probably worth it. We get all of our mana back plus a little, and it's not just free to cast, it actually gives you 1 mana back. So we're up to 4 now, where we had 3 into it. So we have 6 mana total. Definitely Embercleave. Let's see. Embercleave and Rimrock Knight. Let's do that. Doesn't have anything open. Let's go to the combat phase. Make a big splash with this play. All that extra health feels good. 2. We need 3 other cards in the graveyard, so it's not happening right now. He realizes we'll just put the Embercleave on the dwarf and go in and kill him, so Inescapable Blaze doesn't save you. Yeah, if you want to stop your 500 gold casting spells, Birgi's a good one to do that, unless you've got red in it, of course. Let's just look back at the deck real quick. Lots of fun stuff here. As you can see, easy to cast an Embercleave. Sometimes you just go in for it and take them out. The Shadow Spear, even when they don't have hexproof indestructible, that's quite a hero, isn't it? Too bad there aren't some more one-to-cast items for Birgi. That's really fun to do. Yeah, we didn't get to see the Tuskeri Firewalker in action. Drawing those extra cards can be amazing. They will usually want to chump block, or at least spend one of their creatures to kill it on a big attack, and so you get to kill one of their creatures and play 2 cards, often for practically free with Birgi. Gadrak almost hit the board once. We didn't even need him. He can really push the deck forward, though. You're often going to be really close to getting those full artifacts with just the 4 artifacts in the deck. Rimrock Knight, what a champ! Boosting that Embercleave up. Robber's going to draw quite a few cards. You get to drop your hand really fast with Birgi. Yeah, just great synergy. I'd try it out. Definitely. Good luck in your brawls and have fun.